James, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. Very nice of you.
How did you get into theater?
I was a shy, lonely kid, much like Pugsley in the Addams family.
Yeah.
And I had a wonderful teacher named Bill Patton in junior high who had a drama program, and I decided to give it a shot.
And where was that?
That was in Sheldon ISD at Sheldon Junior High.
And where's that?
That is in northeast Houston. It's actually known as Sheldon, but it's unincorporated. So
really?
It's
Okay. Yeah.
North Channel area, North Shore, Galena Park, Sheldon.
Yeah.
And then when I got into high school, that's when I really took off. I had a wonderful, brilliant teacher named Claudia Lamascus, and she got me into. I got into drama, and then she got me into shows. She cast me in some shows, and I took off like a bird and never stopped since then.
So, what was it about theater that took hold?
Well, theater's always been very healing to me. It was healing to me when I first started because I was a shy kid, had problems at home with my parents, and it allowed me to be somebody else. I didn't like who I was.
Yeah, most of us don't.
And so now as an adult, I still don't really care for who I am, but I still enjoy it. So that's why I'm back at it now. And it allowed me to escape real life.
No, it's interesting because we've noticed this, and I consider you a comedian too, that most comedians, most comedy is born from pain. Do you agree with that?
Absolutely.
No?
Absolutely.
Why is that?
All the best stuff is born from pain.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because if you make fun of pain and people can relate to it, then it is funny. You have to turn it around and make it a funny thing.
Right.
But yeah, a lot of painful memories. You can draw off of them. You can make fun of those things. You can make light of them, and that leads the way, I think. Yeah. But yeah, absolutely.
What took you away from theater?
After I was in a show after high school called Little Shop of Horrors. Was the voice of the plant at Baytown Little Theater. And then decided to get serious about music. I did some stuff in Nashville. Yeah. Recorded a CD, demo CD.
Is this what we're talking about right here?
Conveniently is right there. I'm very pretty in that one. Very much different than now. But that's been a couple of years ago, that picture. Yeah. But nevertheless, I still sound, pretty much the same. A little bit better, actually, with age. But I also had a family, had a son named Austin, had a daughter named Haley, got married, the whole thing. Yeah. And that really took up a lot of time, working a regular job and doing all that stuff. So it wasn't so much, it was just the timing, just the timing. And that was a big factor to return is to be in a show with my son. And that was the big thing that brought me back.
How has the music industry changed?
The music industry has changed completely from what we used to know. We used to go into a store and buy a record or a CD or a cassette tape.
Yes.
And now, an 8-track, yes. I had all of those, yes.
Yep.
Fond memories. Let's have a moment for the 8-tracks.
Let's have a moment for the cassettes. When you play it so much that the music starts to slow down.
Yes. Yes. I had 9. I used to. Well, I still do DJing, and I used to do it on cassettes.
Yeah.
And I had 900 of them. I still have most of them. I still have most of them. And what happened was I went to sell them.
Yeah.
Nobody knew what in the heck they were. They were like, well, now you have to go to the retro stores in order to sell that stuff. So it's big collectibles now, but at the time that was all, that was it.
Oh, yeah.
And then the CDs, and now CDs went to MP3s, and so now everything is downloaded. So Nashville is sort of still trying to figure that out. They can't regulate it as much.
Right.
People share music.
Right.
And so in that sense, the music business itself is really it's on its back.
But you're talking about the technology aspect. Let's talk about the people aspect. How has that changed?
My experience is you have to look with my experience in Nashville.
Yeah.
You had to look a certain way. I was told
look a certain way.
I was told if someone is not going to put you up on the wall and dream about you at night, you better make it somebody.
Are we talking about sex symbol here, or
sex
what?
symbol, right?
But
I would literally have people tell me, "Well, your CD, is that you? Are you the guy on the CD? Are you the guy is that your voice that I'm hearing?" And I'm like, "Well, yeah, that's me," and that's what I would hear. I didn't look like I sounded. Yep. And so, thank God when The Voice came along.
Yes.
And I still haven't, pursued that. Maybe one of these days.
Yeah.
But the voice is me. That's me.
Right.
I'm the voice, but I'm not, the body.
Right.
You got when George Strait came along, everybody had to look like George Strait. When George Michael came along, everybody had to look like George Michael. And so, in video, it's all about video, in the MTV days.
Yes, it is. Yeah, we grew up on MTV.
That's right. And, we don't necessarily want to look at ugly people either, but in the old days, it was the music.
Right.
And now it's, I don't like the way she sings because she looks funnier.
But who cares? Because
exactly.
This is the look. This is the look
just send me the file,
I mean, the guy was so bad, but he still got like millions and millions of hits. Yeah,
it was
American
Idol. Yeah.
So millions and millions of hits. And you're going to be kidding.
Exactly.
It was just a freak show or something.
Exactly. Right? And really, honestly, their biggest rating show on American Idol was always the ones that had the worst singers in it.
Really?
They would tune in. And one year I remember they even had some kind of show that was like a special, and it was the best of the worst.
The best of the worst.
Yeah.
So what is it what is it that we're looking for?
Well, we're looking for a great song. That's number one. If the song is bad, if the lyrics are bad, if you can't dance to it in Texas, you can forget it. So even a great song with a great singer, we can dress them up. Yeah. There are groups of people in Nashville that do nothing but image, and they will dress you up. They'll make you lose weight. They'll put a jacket on you that will hide your belly. They'll create the image for you.
Right.
But if your song is not there, if it doesn't hit the guy listening to it at the A&R in the first 10 seconds, he won't listen to another 10 seconds. It's that crazy.
Really?
And they tell you when you go to Nashville, they say, we don't accept any unsolicited material. That's because they have a bagillion of people that are bringing them songs that go, and they get tape after tape or CD or whatever. Right. And I literally saw garbage bags in a stairwell.
They just throw them away?
They didn't even open them. They just threw them away in these big trash bags, and they would put them in the stairwell. And I know that I passed one day a place called Step One Records. I was going for an interview, and I passed 6 bags of those in the stairwell going to the trash.
So how do you get in that? If it's unsolicited, how do you get in?
It was explained to me this way. It's music, business.
Yes.
And a lot of pay to play. We're dealing with pay to play with the politics right now. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, in my opinion, it's a lot of pay to play.
Wow.
Now you still have to have a great song.
Yes.
But your talent has to. Your song and your talent has to keep you there. I can name artists that first song was a big hit, but then you never heard from them again.
Exactly.
So you have to have the substance. It's not all that, but it takes to get in the game. It takes a little something.
You know what? And it gets into the other topic. It has to do with employment. Mm-hmm. We used to. The same thing has to do with any job. I've maintained that you don't have to be the sharpest person in the box.
Right.
Okay. There is some minimal level.
Sure.
It's pretty low, but there is some minimal level of competence that you got to have. Okay. You can't be completely stupid. But beyond that, there's a lot of get-along type skills, and there's just opportunities, right?
Yes.
You just happen to know someone that, okay, fine. And
eagerness to learn, team player.
Oh, yeah.
All of those hot buttons that they teach you in school to say, at the interviews. Mm-hmm. I've known many jobs that I've worked at. I've known people that could barely do their job, and I don't know how they've stayed, and they're probably still there. A lot of them. I know for a fact some of them are. Yep. But, it's just that kind of world. So.
Yeah. How long did you do music business?
Music business I did, mainly in my 20s and early 30s. Yeah. So I would say probably about 10 or 12 years.
Pretty good year. Yeah, it's a pretty good time.
I put a lot of time into it. I've worked with some really great producers in Nashville. Yeah. But, of course, I had to flip the bill for it. I had to pay for the session, which I didn't mind doing.
Right.
They didn't charge me for their services. Their agreement with me was if it does real well, then we would use them in the future and, that type of thing. So, and just some really brilliant guys, but it just didn't happen, and I don't know why. I have some great songs. Yeah. I tell people I have some of the best country music that you've never heard.
Right.
And I've got some cover songs. I got a cover song of a song done by Skid Row in the 80s called "I Remember You," and then I've got some cover songs on there, and then a lot of original songs.
Right.
But who knows? I can't second guess that anymore in my life. I'm at the age where it's get with it
and move on.
Get hot or go home,
right.
kind of a thing.
Well, but even country music has
right.
evolved over the years. I mean, when I listen to country music now, to me it has almost this element of rock from the 70s and 80s.
Absolutely.
And Winona and some of those kind of brought some of that up. At least the way I,
Yeah, George Jones, Hank Williams, Patsy Cline,
exactly. So-called
Willie
old
Nelson,
country.
Merle Haggard. A lot of those people would never make it in today's market because
Ray Price.
They just Ray Price. I mean, these are legends.
Yes.
And these are iconic, and they just would never get a shot.
Yeah.
I mean, it just wouldn't happen.
Right.
And thank God that they came out when they did. Mm-hmm. It was all about timing, and maybe that's what it is with me. Maybe it's all about timing, and I just was in the wrong, slot. Who knows?
What is it about composing that you like?
I've written a couple of different songs. Honestly, Nashville's a good old boy system still.
Yes. So what?
If you take your music into Nashville,
they're
not going to listen to you as fast as if you used one of their friends that they know.
Of course.
It's still good old boy a little bit.
Of course. Yeah.
So I never got a chance to really record any of my stuff.
Right.
I do play live, and I played with my brothers for years in a band. But as far as writing music, I don't. I do lyrics mainly.
Yeah. Okay.
And I play rhythm guitar and a tiny bit of fiddle. Bit of fiddle.
Yeah.
And so that's the extent of composing experience that I've had. But it's all about the song, and it's all about getting it across. I'm finding that the older that I get, the better that I feel, and the better I sound. It's just getting some life on you,
Yes.
Especially with country music. You can't fool the audience.
Oh, no.
If you're up there and you're a guy with 2 first names, good for you. But if you got 2 first names, you better sell that song, and because the looks go away.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Some of these guys that I watched in the 90s, they finally were allowed to eat. And now they're pretty large guys. But,
Yep. Yeah.
So life goes on. So you have to really have those songs. And then, there's some guys, Gene Watson's a perfect example. Gene Watson lives here in the area. And he has a phenomenal voice, phenomenal catalog of songs. Still touring, still playing.
Right.
They don't care how big he gets or how little he gets. He's Gene Watson, Yeah. And the same thing with Ray Price. They didn't worry about all that stuff.
No.
Anyway, that's the long answer.
No. So we get through the first part of, say, 10, 15 plus years, and you get kind of more into family life. So what did you do then?
Had a million jobs.
Okay.
I've cut hair for a living.
Really?
Did that for a while. Was in the world of hair cutting. I worked at Command Performance. I worked at, not at Visible Changes. That's the only place I didn't work at. But I worked at a lot of salons. I found that the ladies would fight so much, and the tension was so crazy that I just couldn't deal with it. That and the money was it's really hard to get started in that business.
It is hard.
If you work 10 years in the business and you build up that clientele, that's great. But it's extremely hard to get into the haircutting business. And then I went back to school and I got a certificate to do drafting, and I did drafting for many years for different companies. Did a lot of shade structures, a lot of canopies. Worked for a company that built Walmart's, garden centers for Walmart's, all the shade structure outside. And I did a million of those things all over the country, in Mexico and just everywhere, Canada. And then all the while had kids. We had kids and raising kids, and of course my son came out. I tell people he came out dancing. He started dancing from age 0. So those people that say dancing is evil, it's of the devil, it is horse crap. This kid came out dancing. Right. He came out entertaining. Right. So, you can buy it honest. That's all. Gets his dances from his mother, though. Not from
Really?
Me. Yeah.
You're not a dancer?
I am a little bit, but he's really good because she's good. She just doesn't know it. She did a little bit in high school. Yeah. And I recognize that, and now I see him, and it's her talent in dance. Really
so what kind of dance does she do?
Well, she did some. We did a play called Bye Bye Birdie,
Yep.
and she did some choreography for Conrad
Yep.
Birdie, and
Yep.
she did all the Elvis dance moves
Yep.
and all that stuff. And then there were other plays in high school.
Sure.
She didn't pursue it, and I think maybe she wishes she did.
Really?
It's one of those things,
Is that her true joy?
I think it is partly, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's very good mother, helps out with band and different other things like that.
Yeah.
So it's hard to say what exactly is her joy, but I know that's something that she enjoys doing.
Well, let's talk about the hair cutting, because what is it about hair cutting that you really enjoyed? Forget the backbiting.
I've always been an artsy kind of a guy.
Yep.
So it was creative. It is also people. I like to be with people. I'm a
Sure.
people person. Put me in a cubicle and I'm a rat in a cage kind of a thing, So it was a chance to interact with people,
Sure.
and that was probably the creative part of it, and the people part of it was what drew me to it.
That's what people seem like they like. That. Some people say it was calming, cutting hair. Did you find it that way?
Yeah. This depends
Not
on,
really?
Depends on if they like their haircut or not. I had somebody one time stand up and just, I hate it, it's too short. And the only thing you can say is, well, and this was a guy.
Yeah.
I said, well, it'll grow, man. I'm sorry. Then I had one person one time that sat down in the chair. Actually, it was a job interview I went to for a place out at a mall. And they brought me a model. You had to use models. You had to do 2 haircuts for them. This person's hair was so thick, when you put your fingers in it,
Yes.
you could not touch their scalp. It was so
It was that thick.
and so kinky curly. And it was just, you couldn't even get to their scalp.
Oh my goodness.
And so, I've had all kinds of crazy experiences like that.
Yeah. Well, as well. So you got into drafting. So what is it about drafting that you really enjoyed?
Well, again, it's creative and
Back
art.
to the creative part of it.
Yeah, I did a lot of graphic art, a lot of Photoshop, a lot of renderings, photo retouching, architectural renderings, a little 3D animation. Use some programs that are out on the market now. So again, it's that creative side of me.
Right.
If I've got to work and I've got to do something, and I need to be sort of artsy in there. And also, I had an uncle that I grew up around that was a drafter.
Yeah.
And so that probably, he was also a musician, so that probably in a way rubbed off on me.
Right.
So
what would be your ideal job?
my ideal job would be to be able to, possibly return to acting. I like character roles. So, or radio. I'd be good on radio. I've got a great voice.
You did radio
I do
before?
impressions.
You did radio
I've
before?
done some radio commercials.
Yeah.
But I never have, and that's another field that's very hard to break into.
It doesn't pay
I
very
don't
well.
really, I know it. I know. I don't.
I can tell you how many
guess-
people I know that are, that are ex-radio, like DJs, announcers, kind of stuff. And that might be for some, like a local church group, like a 5,000 watt, or that kind of stuff. And when I tell it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
It's hard work,
The hardest work I ever had was I owned a bar and nightclub.
Yes. Yeah.
And that was the hardest work in the world for me, because when you work for yourself, my uncle by marriage told me that when you work for yourself, you don't work any harder. You'll never work any harder than you will when you work for yourself. That's how he said it.
Right.
And so, and he was right. And working in the bar business with all the regulations and all the taxes and all the TABC rules and everything that you have to do, that was the hardest work.
Yeah.
It was hard to get the people to come, and then it was hard for them to it was hard for me to get them to go home. Because once you get them in, they drink, and then they want to sit and talk, and it's 2 a.m., and you're looking at the clock, it's 1:50.
Yeah.
And you're on bar time, so it's 15 minutes ahead. So you're telling people, okay, out. Well, hey, it's only 1:50. Why do I need to leave, And they want to argue with you.
Right.
And so that was the hardest work that I've ever done. That's yet another job. I was a bar owner.
Right.
Had zero business training. Zero.
You just did what?
Just common sense.
Yeah,
well,
why?
Here's the deal. I had I did many years of DJing and karaoke shows and live band with my brothers. So I thought it would be a great idea to get a place with a stage where I could bring all my stuff and put it up in the ceiling, and I wouldn't have to drag it around in a trailer.
Right.
And I knew nothing. I don't drink.
Right.
I don't smoke.
Yeah.
Don't do drugs.
But you've got a bar.
But here I get into the bar business, thinking, not knowing the difference between whiskey, gin, tequila, nothing. I mean, I don't know what I was thinking. But there was an opportunity to rent this place that had been a bar that the guy had got closed out of.
Yeah.
All of his stuff was inside. And I had some stuff that I had accumulated.
Yeah.
And I figured, why not? Let's just give it a shot.
Sure.
Bad idea.
How many years in the bar business?
3.5 years.
3.5 years.
3.5 years, yeah.
Did you ever get any interesting characters that you could I could use this?
Oh my gosh, yes, yes. In fact, probably a lot of the impressions that I do and funny little things that I do that I put out on the internet or different things, YouTube, is probably right in the back of my head. It's probably old customers.
They've inspired by old customers.
Oh yeah. I had a Green Bay Packers fan club that was in the bar, which was 250 plus at one time. They came every Sunday. Bought Green Bay Packers in Texas, in Houston.
Wow.
They don't really get along too good. Some of the Texan people were jealous. Some of the Green Bay Packer people, they were always good to me. But there was just a lot of challenges. A lot of challenges in that bar business.
Yeah.
And then, of course, I talked to you privately about the ghost issue.
Yes.
And all of that.
Yeah.
And so we went through a period where we had some weird things happening in the bar, and I took photos and I set up video cameras, not for the ghost, but because I had some unruly customers from time to time, and I had to prove that, they fell out of their chair, they weren't pushed out of their chair, and this person stole from this person. I caught a lot of thieves with my cameras, stealing tip jars and doing all that.
Incredible.
But then I also caught things in the middle of the night that are unexplainable. Yes. And so we went through a period where we were on some ghost shows, and we had some crazy videos out there that are still out there on the internet, and they're all real, absolutely real.
So what does the rest of your family think about some of these?
Well, my son and daughter, they would come into the bar, and if the bar served any purpose at all, it revealed to my young kids how people act in bars. They have no interest in being in bars. They have no interest in drinking. They have no interest in any of that. They think that that life is just a dead end. So if it served any purpose, that's taught them that. Wow. And that was that is a blessing.
Sure. And that's probably something, if you had told them, come on, Dad.
Don't drink, don't smoke, don't.
Oh, come on.
But actually going up there and helping me clean up at nighttime when everything was over, and seeing the mess and the beer bottles and all the broken glass and all the different things. As far as the ghosts are concerned, they experienced some of those things, but not to the degree that I had to, because I was there all the time. Sure. You know yourself when you're in a place and you live the place if you own it. Yes. It's your baby, So.
Yeah. Well, no one else is going to take care of it. I mean,
nobody else cares about it like
nobody
you do.
cares about it like you do.
Yes.
It's your money, right? So,
That's right. That's why when they say, well, when you had these ghosts, why didn't you just leave? Well, the liquor license was $15,000, just the liquor license. And that's just to be able to do it.
Right. Wow.
So, and that's just the beginning, And a lot of this stuff is not out there. If anybody's thinking about getting in the bar business, email me. I'll tell you some real
the horror stories.
I'll give you some horror stories, some truths. Ghosts not included. I can tell you about the laws. Oh my gosh.
So when we look at, when we talk to a lot of professional people that have done it in the arts, whether they're musicians, actors, whatever, especially what I would consider, right now it's almost like winner take all. You got the big stars, they make the big bucks. And there was a time, it seemed like, in the U.S., where there was a place for, you could be a professional, but it was kind of like mid-tier kind of stuff. Okay, you didn't get rich or anything, but you could have a livelihood.
Sure.
And it seems harder and harder that way now. And so I've got a lot of friends that have gotten out of the business. They're now doing insurance or whatever because they wanted a life, okay? With
well,
their families
and I hate to hear that, because you're talking about stuff like character actors, guys that could be character actors. You wouldn't necessarily know their name. No. But they could make a living. And they would be in stuff, and they wouldn't necessarily get recognized on the street.
No.
But they could work consistently.
They could be in, like I said, whether it was acting or singing, or whatever, have a band or whatever, but they could still have a life. They could make a living. Okay? Yeah. And it seems like there are a lot of folks that can't do that now. But maybe that's just my impression. Correct me if I'm wrong.
As far as bands are concerned, when you have to... First of all, the place doesn't want to pay much to begin with, which I understand because I was a bar owner. I didn't want to pay much either. But then you have to split that money up, 4, 5, 6, depending on how many members you have.
Right.
With karaoke shows, now there's different laws where you have to buy insurance and you have to buy licenses and different stuff like that.
Yeah.
In the bar business, we had to have ASCAP BMI license. You probably do in the theater, I'm sure, too.
Yes, we do, yeah.
I understand the reasoning behind it, but it just kills you if you have to split your money up so many different ways.
Yep.
Just in the music business, then you go home with $50, and no, you can't. You can't pay insurance for your 2 kids and your wife.
No. No.
You just can't do it enough. There's not enough time. Not enough
Yeah.
time. Not
Right.
many days in the week.
No. I mean, you have to pay, but you got to pay your bills. It's that simple.
Yeah.
The bills keep coming. They're alive. So.
As far as acting is concerned, I would love to be able to do character roles, those supporting roles. I don't necessarily think that I'll ever be anything huge. I don't really care to be honest with you. But for me to do something that, just play a bum in the street on a TV show,
Right.
I mean, that kind of stuff would be fun. A witch or,
Yeah.
something that you change your voice up, your mannerisms, your character actor. That's
Yeah.
what I am, a character actor. So.
Well, the good news
That'd be
about
great.
it, I mean, Houston has got tons of community theaters, even independent film. Okay, so it's not going to be for pay and stuff like that, but there's a lot of independent film on there.
Right.
Zombie films and film contests and stuff like that. So there seems to be surprisingly quite a bit of that stuff out there.
Right.
It's just a matter of how much time you'll be able to put in and stuff like that. But
With the internet, you can get, obviously, when I was coming up with this stuff, I mean, we really could have used the internet.
Yeah.
Some of the sites that you could find out about auditions. Yes, a lot of it is volunteer type stuff, but it gets you out there.
Sure.
So, I'm exploring some of that type of stuff now.
voiceovers. We have somebody in the
Oh
play
my
couple
gosh.
years. They do they voice over. Well, there was 2 things. One is they do voiceover like for books, right? You need a good voice.
Sure.
And they set up a little sound studio in their closet, and that's what they do. They get paid for that. Obviously on a per book basis or whatever.
Absolutely.
A friend that did anime. There's a lot of anime up
Right.
in Dallas where you take a Japanese script, you anglicize it, and then this translation, you got to change it, obviously that
Right.
kind of stuff, and they've been able to make some kind of living.
I've went to a couple of comic book shows in
Yep.
Houston, and they've had panels on voiceover work and anime and stuff. I would love to get into that type of stuff. I've got that talent. It's just, how do you get in? There's so
Right.
many, and then the big stuff out in California, it's very difficult to get into because there's somebody told me that's in the business, there's a handful of guys that do all that work.
Yeah.
And breaking in is hard to do. And so, that's another thing that, I'm anxious to get my name out there and try a few things. But I obviously will need training and stuff like that. And I'm looking for some of that, too, at this time as well.
Part of this is opportunity, like you said.
I think that's all-
because the odds
all
are
about
just,
it.
out there, they got thousands of people. Or New York, right? You got thousands of people that want a single role.
Everybody's dropping that tape off, and some of them going those trash bags, just like
A lot of them got those
Yeah.
trash bags,
That's right. And some of them need to be in the trash bag, to be honest with you. Some of them are not
Yeah.
so hot.
Yeah.
But they love what they do, so they do it, I guess. I don't know. I shouldn't really say they need to be. They go into the trash bag, but hey, if people are doing what they want to do, good for them. God bless them. But it's a hard life, and that's entertainment business.
Well, I think it's you probably have the same thing that I've had to tell my son. He wanted to get into acting. I said, you know what? Find another way to make a living. If it works out, that's great. I love it. I'm all for it.
Right.
But the odds are just so against it.
Well, the main thing is find something that you love to do.
Yes.
Find something that you're passionate about, because if you are going to sit in a cubicle and you're not allowed to speak, and you are a person like me, then you are miserable. Even if it's picking up the trash, if you are passionate about it and you do a good job, then do it. I mean, and that's a real job, and you'd be amazed at. I saw some numbers on what trash guys get paid.
Depending on where you are, you can do pretty good.
I mean, really? We never knew that back in the day. A trash man. Oh, no.
It depends.
I'm thinking, where do you sign up to be a trash man now,
Hey, in New Jersey, what is it? Our septic system backed up Christmas Day.
Mm-hmm.
So we call up the guy. Guy comes up. He's all dirty, grimy and stuff like that. You know what? That guy was probably a multimillionaire.
Oh, of course.
He owned 10 of these trucks.
Yeah.
out there, and he was probably doing just fine.
That's
you know,
right.
Again, if you're into it and you make it happen, yeah.
You don't necessarily have to be passionate about that, but you can be good at it.
I guess I hope you.
Yeah,
passionate
but he
about
fixes
it.
it right? Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
that's the main thing.
It was so yeah, you know. So there's this balance of finding your passion,
Right.
and at the same time, I mean, you got to pay the bills somehow. So there's
Yes.
some balance
Yes.
there, and I
When we
used to
had
love
that talk
people-
with me, my dad had that talk with me, and even when I got into the bar business, they
Yeah.
had that talk. They said, look, son, you know, a lot of these restaurant and bars fail.
Yeah.
And really, I mean, that's just the truth. You have
Yeah.
to take the truth. And like you said, you had to talk with your son.
Mm-hmm.
I had to talk with my son. You know, son, get you something that you really like to do, because you can, you know, when you come out of school to be a doctor,
Right.
you're a doctor. I mean, this sounds like you're talked to probably.
Mm-hmm.
When you come out of school to be a lawyer and you take the bar exam, you're a lawyer.
Right.
When you come out of school to be an actor, you're just a guy that came out of school that wants to be an actor still.
Right.
So, you know, you got to make it work. You
Yeah.
got to hustle.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
And if
yes.
you don't look like, you know, the cookie cutter, you know, if you're not Brad Pitt, or if you don't have the breaks, then, you know, you've got to work.
It's tough. And even if you do get the break, that might be it. That could be it for, you know, you could be the one hit
right.
wonder, right? Whether
That's
it's
right.
an actor or
I had that one song, and that's it. You remember that song? Yeah.
Yeah, they go,
Even
yeah.
an actor, right. Did you do that? I didn't think that. Look, you're the guy that sings like that? Yeah.
But, you know, even beyond that, and it is important, you know, you got to have the passion, of course. You have to pay the bills. I get that. The most interesting now as we get older, it tends to be more philosophy about what is a guy? What is a guy when he doesn't have a job? Who are you? Who are you? And that's kind of, you know,
Unfortunately, yes, I understand.
And I know it's, you know, for females, yes, I know it's important to them too. But for guys, there is really something there.
And you know, a guy that stays home and cooks and cleans and does
And that's fine if that's what
running
you-
with kids and all that kind of stuff, he's still an essential part of the family.
Yes.
But deep down inside, you're like, you know, I really miss having that job. You know, I really miss sitting in traffic sometimes. Yeah, an hour of traffic each way, 47 miles each way. I could listen to whole CDs just, you know, sitting in the traffic, you know. But yeah, I understand what you're saying. You know, it's sort of built into you. You know, you're expected to be.
Who are you?
Certain,
as a person.
yeah.
Kind of interesting. So, where are you now? Who are you as a person?
Who am I as a person? Well, I am a person. I'm 47 years old currently, and I am a person who is enjoying learning new things.
Yeah.
I make zombies. I make tombstones.
Amazing.
I make crypts.
Yep.
I do eyeballs. I do all kinds of different. I've learned a lot of special effects stuff. Thank goodness through the internet.
Yes.
DVDs.
Yes.
Stan Winston School
I
of
think you
Character
could make a
Arts.
living at it.
Love that.
I think
Thank
you could make a living at it. I really do.
Well, you know, again, somebody's got to see you. Somebody's got to see your work. I'm finding that making the zombies and selling any of my work, it's a lot harder than I thought it would be, because I just haven't found the right market yet.
Right.
eBay for me has not been the market for zombies.
Right.
But those Comic Cons may be. So that's what I'm, you know, and maybe they're not. Maybe people are doing a lot more looking and a lot less buying. Who knows?
Right.
But that's who I am right now. I'm just a guy who's I'm comfortable in who I am. I know what I like. I know what I don't like.
Yeah.
I know that I want to learn new things, do new things. I feel like with this play that we've done with Addams Family, I'm more comfortable now than I was when I was younger. I'm more
comfortable in which ways?
Comfortable in being on stage. Comfortable in
your own skin?
And remembering lines, yes. Yeah. I didn't know that I could remember lines again, to be honest with you. That's
I
an
can't
honest
remember
fear.
lines with a flip.
Honest fear, yes. Sometimes I go to tell a story. I tried to tell somebody about my audition for X Factor once upon a time. Couldn't remember the name X Factor at all. It's X Factor.
X Factor, yeah.
But I could not remember it at all. I thought, I tried out for one of Simon Cowell's shows. But when I got into this play, you know, I didn't know if I could remember lines again. It had been 27 years. Yeah. And I'm just finding that I like the person that I am now with the age. Yeah. I think I would be much better in the acting field now than I was then. Yeah. And I tried it a little bit then.
Yeah. But you've got, like I said, you've got some experiences that you can
Yeah.
bring to the table.
I feel also that the older you get, the more you just don't care. You know,
Yes.
if you're going to try for something and it doesn't work out, you can let it go a lot easier at
Right.
this age.
It's not the end of the world.
Yes.
Yeah.
Young people, they can't let it go. It just eats them up.
Yeah.
And they'll learn, as I did, that, you
Yeah.
know, hey, if you forget a line, you forget your prop, you know, do something else with that.
Right.
You know?
Absolutely.
But it's been a joy being in this play and being a part of this Addams family and this program here. And I've really surprised myself. I didn't think I could do it.
Really? Why not? What?
Again, it's a healing thing for me.
Yeah.
It was in the beginning with my theater experience.
Yeah.
It was being able to get back into it. It's been a very a confidence booster.
Yeah.
You know, a builder even.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the best thing that I've gotten out of it is
Wow.
that yes, you can do it, and yes, you can remember lines,
Mm-hmm.
and you can have a blast. I mean, this play has been so much fun. I get to do all kinds of fun things in this role. I don't know how I'm going to work with any other group.
Well, essentially, you're a stand-up comedian. Which means,
Yes.
did you ever do stand-up comedy?
I tried stand-up comedy one time.
Once?
One time in I guess it was the Laugh Stop, I think it was, in Houston.
Yeah.
And I didn't have any material. I made it up all on my own. It was
Right.
all
Right, it's
improv.
original. Yeah, improv. That's good.
And I ended up I ended up doing a routine where I was talking about a family friend who would walk around with his pants down, showing the crack of his butt.
Right.
Well, I did that impression, and I had 5 minutes, and people were just shocked in the place, you know. They had a couple
Shocked to good or shocked bad?
shocked, like they didn't know what to do with
Did
it.
they have enough drinks?
Well, they did, yeah. The problem was it was like an open mic night.
Yeah.
And there were a couple of comedians before me that attacked the audience, which is never smart.
Cats.
Oh, look at that girl there. She's so ugly.
Right.
So the audience had their dukes up ready for me when I came out. So
Right.
when I did this routine, they just, you know, they just didn't know I think I did an impression of I Want Your Sex. The song "I Want Your Sex," sang by Johnny Cash.
Right.
I mean, just all kinds of just crazy off the wall
Right.
stuff. And it was only 5 minutes, but it felt like 5 hours. When you do stand up and you don't get a laugh, it's like inhaling as much air as you can. And you can't let it out. You can't let it out. That's the feeling you get with stand up.
Yeah.
And it's the hardest thing in the world I've ever done. So that was the only time I did that. But anyway, I did this routine. Pull my pants down just a little bit, walk around doing this character from my childhood, and every comedian that came in after me the rest of the night said, "Man, I can't believe that. You know, I came in and the guy had his pants, he was showing his ass, man. I just can't get over it." And the whole audience it was just crazy. So I think it was just too much.
But
That scared me. I'm like, oh my God. Again, it's like sucking up all that air and not letting it out. That's the feeling I had on that stage for 5 minutes. I was so glad to see that light from the guy on the side.
Get the hell off the stage.
Okay, your time's up. Go, you know.
But even on stage, although not as bad as stand-up because you're not the only one generally on stage, each audience has a different impression of the comedy, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, what's funny to somebody is kind of like just falls flat, and it can happen.
It's different when people know you and they know your character and they know people that are connected to you.
Right.
And like with me, impressions have always been something that I love to do.
Yeah.
I can impersonate people that I know real well, that I'm pretty close to. You know, presidents and cartoon characters and stuff like that. And it's just, it's almost like they have to know you.
Yeah.
It's a lot more funnier here than it is out there. You know?
Oh, absolutely.
And it's hard to build that relationship, especially if the guys before you go out there and they attack the audience and heckle them, essentially, and they heckle back. Then the audience is ready for you with those dukes, and you can't do anything about it.
Wow.
Bomb, huge bomb. Yeah. So theater is, at least theater, you have the material, and you get out here, and it is what it is.
Right.
And if they laugh, they laugh. If they don't, it's not your fault. You didn't write it. Some other guy wrote it. You deliver it best you can. You know, some nights, like some Sunday performances are a lot quieter than Friday night. Yeah. And there's nothing we can do about that.
No, that's the way it is. Yeah. Hey. And they all play the same.
But they all love us.
Yes.
Sometimes.
No, generally they do. It's
Yeah.
just sometimes they're quieter.
Sometimes it happens.
We like them when they're more boisterous, but sometimes, they're quieter.
And we as actors feed off of that. If we have a
Absolutely.
great audience, oh my gosh, it just
It's amazing.
makes us pop.
There's nothing like it.
But play into an empty house, even dress rehearsals. Oh my gosh, it's like, did I hear a pin drop? you know,
That's why I hate
I
rehearsals.
think I heard a pin drop, Gomez. Oh,
I hate rehearsals. I hate rehearsals. I like this, this live.
Well, and a lot of the
Yes.
classic comedians hated rehearsals.
Yes.
Gleason, one of my heroes, Jackie
Yeah.
Gleason, would not rehearse because he felt like it broke the timing. You didn't have the
Yeah.
timing with the
Exactly.
audience.
Exactly.
And so somebody else for the TV shows would run through stuff for the cameras, and
Yeah.
then he would come out and do it. And same thing I heard with some of the movies.
Yeah,
he would
Spencer
do.
Tracy, one take.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you get one take.
You get one take. And I mean, if you're that good, hey, I mean,
Or Frank Sinatra, that was a different thing. They said, hey, we at 5 o'clock or whatever the time is,
That's
we're
it.
going out, the Rat
Yeah.
Pack's going out, we're having some fun, so you
Wow.
better get what you need now, or, and he could do that, he's big
could you
enough to do
imagine
that.
living in that time?
Oh my
Man.
goodness.
Wow.
That's amazing. So where have you traveled to?
Where have I traveled? I went to England one time with
Yeah.
a friend and my wife, girlfriend at the time. I think was it girlfriend or wife? We've been together for a long time, so it's hard to tell. I will just say wife. It was
Okay.
wife. Yeah, it was wife at the time also. So we've been there. We'd like to. She likes to go to New York. We've been to New
Sure.
York. I prefer L.A. and the mountains, and being able to go to different temperatures in one
Yes.
day. So United States, Mexico. I'm a scuba diver.
Oh, really?
Wife's a scuba diver. Father's a scuba diver.
Yeah.
So we love to do that.
Yeah.
Haven't done that in a while, but Mexico, Cozumel, Grand Cayman Islands. Of course.
If you're scuba, yeah.
Yeah. British owned, so
Yeah.
British ruled, so it's
Yeah.
real nice. Mainly, that's about it. We're planning to do more traveling as I get older and get
And
branch out.
what was your favorite place to date?
I would say the people of England,
People of England.
because even if they're rude to you,
Yeah.
they still are pretty light sounding. Yeah, they can tell you to off, and it would still sound pretty cool.
That's pretty
Oh,
cool.
we went to Paris. Now that was
Paris. Ooh.
yeah, Paris was not a great experience for me because I feel like, just my impression, I feel like Americans have ruined Paris.
Well, yes, we have.
And I think that's why, again, the audience, they got their dukes up. Paris has got their dukes up for Americans. Some of them, not all of them. Now, I released my songs on internet radio stations when I was doing it with Nashville.
Yeah.
I got some of the nicest letters in the world from France.
Right. From
So
France?
So I know it's not all
Right,
France. I'm just
right.
talking about
Yeah.
Paris.
Well, you know how the joke goes, right? There's Parisians, there's the French, and there's everyone else.
Yes.
Which is pretty much true. I think the nicest compliment I ever had a friend who could speak fluent French. They went, "You're not from here, are you?"
Yeah.
It wasn't your French is so bad. That was my story. My story is I went to a French restaurant and I practiced my high school French. And I give my order to the waiter, and the waiter turns to my host, and in French he says, "I can't understand him. He speaks so badly."
Oh my.
I understood that crystal
Oh
clear.
my gosh. That's great. I was wearing a shirt, a regular T-shirt.
Yeah.
I walked into a shop in Paris.
Yeah.
The guy says, welcome Americans. Welcome. I said, how did you know I was American? Hadn't spoke a word now.
Right.
He said, because you were smiling when you walked through the door.
What? Because you were smiling?
When you
and they
walked
gave
through
you
the door,
away?
they knew that I was an American by my smile. And I'm thinking, wow, that's heavy.
Oh my goodness.
But England, Paris, Paris, the architecture, second to none.
Yeah.
We got in a group of beggars at the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah.
I threw some money up in the air and they disappeared, chasing the money, and we ran one way. England, though, you can't beat the history, history
absolutely.
buff,
Absolutely.
and the people. So I look forward to going back there one day.
So, I know that you've done country music, but what really is your favorite style of music?
80s music.
80s music.
Depeche Mode, Thompson
Really?
Twins.
Right.
Culture Club.
Right.
The
I
stuff
know
that I
those.
grew up,
Yeah, the group
Spandau
stuff we grew up with.
Ballet.
We grew up with it, yes.
That's how I learned how to sing, was singing with those songs.
Yeah.
Singing. And that's that clear diction that I have, the pronouncing of, the different words and stuff, that all came from singing along with those guys. George Michael and Wham,
Mm-hmm.
Duran
Yep,
Duran,
yep.
all that stuff. That's what I still listen to. Mm-hmm. And then I like some classical stuff. It just depends. It depends on what kind of mood I'm in. But I'm very broad when it comes to musical taste.
Yeah.
Country-wise, classic country is best as far as I'm concerned. Willie Nelson is a Texas icon, an American icon. Only one we got left presently. God bless you, Willie. And then, George Strait, of course.
Yeah.
The list could go on and on.
Sure.
Different stuff. And then, some of the classic Sinatra, Elvis.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely,
Streisand, all the biggies,
So if you had to look back on yourself and give a note to self, to your younger self, what would you tell yourself?
Don't be afraid to go for it.
Really?
Yeah, I let fear control a lot of my life, unfortunately.
I think most of us do.
Yeah, but I got so caught up in making a decision where to go to school, what to major in,
Ditto.
that I didn't make a decision. I just sort of sat back and I said, well, I'll just go get a job.
Were you afraid of making the wrong decision?
Yes.
Yes, same thing
So
here.
go for it. That's the
Yep.
main number one thing I'd say. Dear James, do it. Do something.
Right.
Get your education, because that you will always have. That's one of those things that they can't take away from you. Don't get so caught up in worry. Don't worry about so much stuff. Just enjoy the ride. And I understand what that means now.
Oh, yeah.
Because
we have less years left.
exactly.
Okay, we're counting.
When you turn 40, that's what they say. Which honestly, I didn't worry about 40 so much as 41, 42, 43. That's when it hit me. I'm like, oh my gosh. But yeah, that's what I would do. I'd tell myself, just go for it. Don't be so afraid of everything. And you have the same experience?
Yeah, well, actually, I was afraid to make decisions because I was afraid to make the wrong decision.
Yeah.
So I didn't make the decision. And I think if I were to tell myself, I'd tell myself the same thing. Just do it.
We're twins. Twins.
So it's wrong.
Yeah.
Okay. So what? There are very few things, and there are some things that plague you for the rest of your life, but very little. As long as you don't hurt yourself or that kind of stuff. For the most part, almost things they just kind of go by. Let's say you were a smoker, and if you don't smoke now, guess what? A lot of those effects can go away. Surprisingly,
When I owned the bar, that was one thing they said. Well, you're going to start drinking now that you own the bar, and you're going to start smoking, and I never did. No. For one, I couldn't afford to because the bills were so high. But no, it wasn't in me. My mother brought me up right. It was that's what grown people did. Yeah. Smoking and drinking and all that. And when you are grown, son, you can do those things. Well,
so what?
I got too old now. I never got an ear piercing. I never got a tattoo. That was what grown people do. When you're grown, you'll do that. Yep. Well, it just passed me up. Now I'm 47 and I would look ridiculous with an earring, and a tattoo. Forget it. I don't like needles. I always wanted to be a tattoo artist. Just try it, one of those things. Yeah. But I don't want any tattoos.
Right.
I think that's weird. I don't even think that exists. So I've never went there, as far as that goes. But I'd love to learn how to do some of that stuff because some of that artwork is amazing. Those guys are talented, and they some of them have great work, but not for me.
Yeah. What about faith? Is faith important to you or not?
Faith is extremely important to me.
And how did that happen?
Well, as far as getting introduced to the Lord and faith, my uncle went to a bookstore as a young kid in 1980. And it was a Christian bookstore, and that's where I was saved. That's where I accepted Christ.
The bookstore?
Was the bookstore. The guy at the counter said, "Do you know Jesus? Are you saved?" And I was a little kid. Yeah. And I said, "I don't know." And he said, "Well, I would like to lead you in the Lord's Prayer." And he did, and that's how it started.
So that's a seminal moment for you, at least in terms of faith.
That was what changed everything as far as I'm concerned. Yeah. I didn't know that at the time.
Okay.
That was a seed.
Yes.
That was a seed. That was a mustard seed of faith, that they talk about.
Right.
As far as faith is concerned, and all the things that were in my bar, that was the only thing that carried me through was faith. I had a lot of weird people that walked through the door after I was on the Ghost Show, and one of them told me, said, you don't have to really worry about any of this because you have a man. She was a medium. You have a man that's walking around with you. and he protects you, and he watches everything that's going on, and he keeps those things away from you.
Guardian angel?
Exactly. I said, well, heck, finally somebody's told me something about this that I like. So I believe, I definitely believe that in all of this.
Wow.
I do know that the bad existed, but I also know that the good exists, because I would not be here if it wasn't for the mercy of God. It really, and the compassion and the goodness.
Absolutely.
So anyway, that's how faith works for me.
Yeah.
I'm ordained. I'm ordained in the sense that I did an internet thing.
Yeah.
I got ordained to marry my brother.
Okay.
So I did the ceremony, and I had signed all the papers and all that stuff. Certainly not a preacher, because.
But you could be if you want.
Well, I can. I guess be a plain talking preacher. I could learn. I could definitely learn, but testimony type preacher, that'd be good.
Yeah.
But so that faith is, like I said, it's always been in my family. As far as and we're not talking about religion, we're talking about actual faith.
We're talking about faith.
Yeah.
There's formal organizational structures. No, I'm talking about faith. What's in here inside you.
The seed, seed's in you.
Yeah.
Born and raised and saved. So.
Wow. So what's next for James?
James is going to continue to learn. James is going to continue to do artsy stuff.
Yeah.
I'm going to pursue more of the acting stuff, I believe. Maybe voiceover stuff.
Sure.
I'm going to throw some stuff out there and see what happens, and not be afraid to do it. That's the main thing.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't work out, it didn't work out. I have a car that I'm working on right now. I do a Sheriff Buford T. Justice. I have the car now, and so I'm building the rest of it, putting it together. Yeah. You'll probably see it out and about one of these days in one of the Christmas parades or something. Let me see what else. Just learning,
And what is it about the learning? Yeah.
Well, it's just I guess it's my age. I just am enjoying new things.
Yeah.
And stuff other, safe stuff, good stuff. Yeah. You could do anything you want to at this age, and you could do some bad stuff, that middle-aged crazy stuff.
Yeah.
But just with the technology, with the people out there now that put out DVDs that are eager to share their education.
YouTube. Oh my goodness. There's so much
You can learn anything. If you don't know it, you can Google it. You can YouTube it.
Right.
And then it's up to you to do what you want to do with it.
Right.
And that's what I'm really excited about. It's just being able to learn new things and do new things.
Yeah.
If we would have had just the Star Wars crazy stuff.
Right.
In '77 when it came out.
Yes, I was in line.
If we would have had if we would have had the costumes that they have now, even on a kid scale.
Oh my goodness.
We would have been out of our minds.
Yeah. No.
But nobody knew how to make that. That was like magic.
Cosplay or costume play, that wasn't, I'm not saying that it didn't exist, but it's not like it is. Halloween is a huge thing now. Yeah. And they say it's going to even surpass Christmas in terms of popularity, and the candy sales and just people want to dress up. And it's carried on. Actually, there are people that make six figures doing cosplay.
Oh, yeah.
I can't believe it. What do you need? Yeah, you need a fairy in London. Okay, I'll be there on whatever. Okay, what do you need now? You want some, Star Wars character on Tuesday. Okay, fine, I'll be there.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's amazing.
I know a guy that does Walking Dead cosplay.
Yeah.
Rick Grimes guy, and just amazing. Looks just like him.
Yeah.
And he is very happy doing the conventions.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how he's doing. I'm sure he's doing great, but he's happy.
Yeah.
He looks like he's really enjoying what he's doing.
Right.
And man, what a life. That's the dream.
Yeah.
Just loving what you do.
Oh no, the costumes.
The costumes, my gosh, if we had that.
My goodness. Oh no.
If we could have had if I had a stormtrooper helmet in 1977, I remember begging my mother to take me to J.C. Penney's to see the Don Post mask, the Star Wars helmet, the Stormtrooper Darth Vader. I think it was C-3PO and it was Chewbacca. I think.
Yeah, right.
No, we're not going. No. Oh, please. Just
it's amazing, and now there's cruises. conventions for just about any show you can
Anything,
name. Just
yes.
about name it, anywhere.
And here's the thing that blows my mind is, okay, like Bear in the Big Blue House
Yeah.
was a show that my son grew up on. I sat home with him,
Right.
when I was going to school, and
Right.
we'd play and watch these
Sure.
TV shows.
Yeah.
I took some puppetry courses up in Dallas,
Yep.
University of North Texas, I think
I
it
know
is.
it. Yep.
And the guy that teaches the course is
Yeah.
the bear from the Bear in the Big Blue House.
Wow.
And just to be able to connect with those guys and to put stuff out on the internet, put stuff out on social media, on Facebook, and to have those guys say something to you. I mean, that's the Bear in the Big Blue House, for gosh sakes. That's an iconic part of my child's
Right.
upbringing. And for him to be talking to me and me to be able to take a class with him,
Yeah.
just amazing.
They put
Great
their-
time to be
they
in
put their
live.
pants on like everybody else
I know,
too.
but it's a great time. We can reach these people is what I'm
Yes.
saying. In the old days, we didn't have any of that.
Right.
Make a stormtrooper helmet, it would have been a box.
Yes.
Well, now we can look up something
How to
on
mold
the internet.
stuff, how to
It's a
whatever.
vacuum,
Yeah, yep. Wow.
You can dang near do it.
Wow.
There's stuff where you can go down to a dollar store and get a toy gun and come home and repaint it, and you could sell it for big bucks, and it's a dollar store
Right.
gun, but it looks like a real prop.
Right.
Crazy.
Amazing.
What a great time.
It is a great time, and I when I think about this, can't imagine living in any other time. It is an exciting
Yeah.
time. Yeah.
The only thing I regret, though, about it is in the old days when you ran into your friends,
Yeah.
you ran into your friends. It was
Yes.
total chance. Nobody knew anybody.
Right.
You didn't track anybody. Nobody knew you were going to be there.
Right.
You went to TGNY, and there they were.
Right.
Now, okay, James is down at the corner. What are you doing at the McDonald's again? Get away from that McDonald's.
Here's a picture of my food.
Exactly, yes.
It's just a little ridiculous.
Here's
but
the
okay.
coupon, Now there's so much out there. Everybody knows everything. So that's
It's
the
Big
only thing.
Brother. It's 1984. Only
right.
we've given up our rights. Before, right, Big Brother was going to know everything about us.
Yeah.
Here we're voluntarily
Well,
giving
nobody
it up.
reads. Nobody reads that
no.
agreement. You just say accept.
Yes.
Nobody scrolls down and reads the fine print. They don't know that we're selling our soul, essentially.
Well, the scary one is, my son got me into computer vision. I haven't done neural networks in a long time. And there is a Russian Facebook. You take a picture of a random person, and it matches that person. Meaning, it'll identify them, or give you 10 people that are kind of like them. And
Wow.
It's unfortunately turned into almost like a stalking app.
Wow.
That's not the intent.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like, okay, I found 10 people. Here's 10 people that look like this person. In fact, one of them may actually be that person. It's scary. It is scary.
Jeez.
So, exciting, but ooh.
Yeah, you can take it too far. That's
You
right.
can take
All I want to do is learn how to make things. I don't necessarily, exactly.
Oh my goodness! Hey, we've had a great time, and I hope you've had a great time with us here. But
Love it. Thank you.
I know you're going to do really well with whatever you do because you've got that great talent, and you've got the passion.
Well, thank you very much, and I've
I know
enjoyed
you
it.
will.
I appreciate all the opportunity here. I really do.
I know you will.
Conroe is amazing. They have so many amazing theater opportunities here. If you want to be in a play,
Weird, but it is amazing too. It is weird, but it's amazing.
it's got a lot more than where I'm from, Atascocita.
If heaven exists, what do you want God to say when you get to the pearly gates?
Hello, James. I've been waiting for you.
And how would that make you feel?
Well,
Will you laugh? Will you cry? Will you tell a joke?
when God knows your name, that's as good as it gets.
Wow.
So, yeah, I would. You just want to go through the gate. You don't want to stay outside. So if he knows who I am and the gate's open,
Hey, can
I'm
you
a
raise
happy
the gate
man.
like you do in the show?
Yes. That's right. Don't be left behind, folks. Don't be left behind.
Oh my goodness. James, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you, sir.